Holdfast has given us in the new Age of Sail update, adding incredible mechanics like boarding and ship capture and captain commands. We have included almost every new feature Anvil Game Studios has given us in this new update, though even with all these new dimensions to the game, the path to victory in the NSL remains the same as ever. A team wins the match in the NSL by sinking or capturing all the opponent's largest ships, the heavy, powerful 17-gun brigs and the lighter, more maneuverable 8-gun schooners. These are what we call the capital ships of the NSL, and once they are all sunk or stolen, the battle immediately ends. Each team has 35 minutes to complete this mission, and if the timer concludes before either team can completely defeat the other, then the team which has the most capital ships remaining under their control wins the battle. If both teams have the same amount of capital ships, the tie is decided in favor of whoever has the highest overall point score. There are 8 teams competing this year, some returning, some newly formed. All of them have the same goal, to put together a record of victories in their battles to make it into the top 4 teams of the league. Only the top 4 teams will have a chance to compete for the Champions Prize, which is determined by a 2-week tournament among those top 4 teams, which will take place after the regular season ends. I want to thank you for joining us today, and I hope the league can inspire you to pick up Holdfast yourself, jump on a ship, and learn the art of sailing as we all have. Perhaps one day you too will compete in the Naval Sports League and burn bright in the fires of competition. The pre-game coverage will begin shortly. I wish all the teams the best of luck, and I'm confident they will put on a tremendous show of courage and bravery for you to enjoy. So stick around and see what happens here at the Naval Sports League.
Hello and welcome to NSL Week 13 Rum Rats versus the Leviathans. I am your host, Admiral of the Hydra's Muffin Top Scout, and I'm joined today by my fellow Admiral, Lord Jenkins. How's it going
Hello,
today,
everyone.
Jenkins?
Very well, thank you myself. Watching the Leviathans today, the pesky pirates nobody seems to be able to get rid of. I think Spain and France and Britain have all given it a go, and their flags lay in the water. Every week, really, isn't it? It's starting to look dire.
A little dire as we look over at the league standings right now. Leviathans are the top team. Not a big surprise there because they are, the naval team. No matter whether it's in professional or just in the servers in general, they get the job done. However, they are not just a unbeatable monument. They have been beaten before, and hopefully the Rum Rats today can prove that they can beat them again. So, looking at the rest of the standings, we have Hydras in second, followed by the Krakens, and the Rangers after their stunning victory against the Marines at fourth. We finally have the Rum Rats, the Sea Otters, the Marines, and finally the Kelpies. So let's move on to just the individual stats. Jenkins, what do you think for today? You have the veteran Leviathans. How do you think they're going to take on the Rum Rats, a relatively younger, newer team?
I think the Leviathans have their method that works, and I think we're going to see it again. Pure focus fire, getting ships out the water as soon as possible. As long as they're all shooting at the same thing, they're going to sink, and it's a battle of attrition. I think we're going to see. But I want to see some boarding. I want to see some battle axes out. I want to see some swords swing and some bayonet stab. I want to see some decks swept with grape shot. Exciting stuff. Not this
Oh, yeah.
not this long range shooting stuff we're so accustomed to seeing, but it'll be a good game nonetheless, I'm sure.
Yeah, and looking at the player leaderboard as kind of a small little joke, you wouldn't know that the Leviathans, they're that team, top team. They're great with as a like as one group, great team, one mind, one fight. However, as a kind of a proud moment for myself, the Hydras are dominating the individual stats, and I hope we can continue to do that. However, you know, the Leviathans will probably buff it up again today. We have Brazen, top of the board, over 2,000 average score. I would have to double check. I don't know if that's Brazen's fifth match, or can that score just keep climbing or anything like that. However, Dan, Finney, Ginger, and Wolfie are not going to make it easy for him. I'm not saying that the Hydras have a hit out for Brazen, but Brazen, you know, you might want to sleep with one eye open. All right, so player leaderboard going on. Let's move on to just the head-to-head information. So, Jenkins, you're Lemerck. You have the most disciplined fire team. You have a decent map. What are you thinking about for the Rum Rats? What would you try to look for in terms of, you know, how would you want to tackle the Rum Rats? Because you fought them before, I believe, haven't you?
I believe we have fought the Rum Rats. Have we fought them this season? I can't remember. If we may have fought them early season. Excuse me for forgetting if we did. However, I'm a bit. My first concern with the Rum Rats is that for somebody that holds the Union Jack in their team logo, I think they've got the red, white, and blue strung up there in the wrong orientation. That's almost looking like a French flag. May I expect? Yes, I think they're flying French colours today. I don't know what's going on there. Technical difficulties in the flag department, I have no doubt. But
It's all a ruse,
no,
clearly.
obviously, it's they're in disguise, spies. That's how you defeat pirates, trickery. Maybe that's what we'll see. Maybe that's how the Rum Rats will play. I think I think they boarded one of the matches I've watched from them before. They did actually board and capture a 17 gun, I believe. So I want to see some of that. And if they can disperse Lemerck's fleet and get them unorganized for even a split moment, that might be the the opportunity they need to win this. And I hope it. Although maybe I don't hope it because I'm rooting for the Leviathans today. Sorry, you hope for it. I think.
Yes, I do. All right, looking at the head-to-head, Leviathans and the Rum Rats. Admiral of the Leviathans is Lemerck. So far, the team's record 3-0. They have not versed the Rum Rats yet this season, or I guess ever in the NSL. Their top players are, as we've already pointed out, Brazen, the very scary Treehouse, and the even scarier Shadow. Those are three players you don't want to face head to head oftentimes. But from the Rugrats, we have Digby. Good guy. I think he is showing, from my point of view, him and the Rugrats in general are showing that they are really understanding the mechanics of the NSL. So I am looking forward to see what plan he has concocted to try and defeat the Leviathans. Their season record right now, 1-2. Once again, 0-0 for the matchup, with his top players being, oh boy, here we go. Omaset, sure, we'll go with that. Marcus and Anne Frank. Decent players. I was able to catch their match, watch their matches overall. And as I said before, the Rum Rats are showing that they are getting the mechanics of the new NSL. So let's transition over to the map and let's talk about what we're going to see, what we think we're going to see from both teams today. So we got the map today is Black Watch Rock. The wind is blowing to the west. So if you look at your screens, it's from basically the lower part of the screen up to the top. The Leviathans will be oriented on the north-hand side, the right-hand side. They will be the brownish kind of ships, while the Rum Rats will be on the left-hand side, and they will be French, and I believe that is red, the red ships. So this is a map that Jenkins, you and me are both very familiar with. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I don't like this map. We lost on this map as we. Oh dear, some very stark memories indeed. And I believe it was too the Leviathans we lost on this map. So
Pretty
very
sure you lost to
very.
my team on this map.
Oh wait, yes. Oh yes, we lost to your team on this map. Yeah, this is very disappointing. This map. But we got a westerly wind and it's facing towards that northerly island over there. Oh no, westerly wind. That means it's East Island over there. My apologies. Compasses are difficult. I'm sure you know. Um, I think as times move on and losses roll in for the first RM, God made that end. What we're learning very slowly is that it's probably easier to go with the wind at the beginning, and with that extra set of islands up the east side, um, it's probably the most advantageous to go to that side of the map and roll the dice, gamble. The wind changes. It starts west. It could go east. It could go south. Who knows? So I think taking the gamble, get to that bit of cover, and then maybe we'll see it go down to the open water fight at the south, west, at some point. But no, what are your thoughts on this map? I'm sure
Yeah,
you love
so
it.
this map does favor a gun heavy type of orientation, which unfortunately is the Leviathan's bread and butter. The islands, while you looked at there's a lot of gaps, those are pretty wide gaps on the map. You can see that if a team decides to launch the attack, it's not a fatal funnel, but it's a funnel enough to where both, that's attacking side could lose it. So this can favor a long range gunfight, but the Leviathans have shown before that, it doesn't matter if they get in close, they get in far away, they're going to outgun you no matter what. So the key thing here is as you're maneuvering, look at where you want to fight. Where does Lemerck, where does Digby, where do they want to go? How do they want to maneuver their ships and launch their attacks? Are we going to see a lot of defensive play at the beginning? We don't know. I hope not. I hope we see aggression on both sides. And as you pointed out, Jenkins, a lot of messy melee.
These battles seem to begin like a bouncing ball. You get in there, you get your first shots off, you retreat, the ball comes to the floor again, they get a bit closer, a bit more aggressive. What we want to see is that little vibration at the end of the ball bouncing, when they're just clashing off each other and bashing ships amongst whatever. And I hope we see it today, by God.
Oh yeah, because there's a couple, trains of thought in this type of fight. Do you commit once and only once? So you try to pick your moment and just fully commit. No stopping, full on aggression, full on gunnery, and just turn it into one long slog of an engagement? Or do you try to, peck at your enemy a little bit, feel them out, try to maneuver, see if you can outmaneuver and maybe pick several smaller engagements? What do you think, Jenkins? What do you think on that?
I don't know. I think the sheer confidence the Leviathans have to pick out one target, no matter where it is. It could be buried half deep in the enemy's fleet. If they want to sink that ship, they have the confidence and the ability to do so, and they will do it. So, defensive strategy using ships as barricades might pose a hopeless effort, but hopefully they have another trick up their sleeve. We watch these teams every week. We see more and more of their strategies. We ask them questions at the end, and it's a battle of who learns the most from those sort of conversations. So I think the Rum Rats might be prepared.
We shall see. And I hope they are. I hope they really fight it out. But it looks like the map is starting to load in. For the viewers, if you've never seen an NSL map, this is kind of how it goes. If you look in the lower left screen, you see our compass and you see the lovely wind effects. That means the wind is blowing from the east to the west. So if you need to orientate yourselves, the Leviathans are on the left-hand side of the screen, and you can kind of see the little pirate flag right now from one of their ships. And the Rum Rats are on the right-hand side of the screen. And we'll try to keep that up. Remember, pirates are brown ships, Rum Rats are red ships. So easy way to remember it, definitely color-coded, not too crazy. We are now kind of just slowly waiting for live. And from this angle, you can kind of see, you see that big castle island in the middle, everyone. It, it is a big blocker, but it is a great kind of bastion that you could anchor your ships near or align, because if you are an enemy fleet that wants to attack another side of that island, you have to expose yourselves. You have to maneuver. While ships that might use it as like a blocker, they're set up first. 9 times out of 10, they're going to get the first shot. All right, so live has been called and the ships are starting to maneuver. Jenkins, what do you see?
I'm seeing a hard east push. I do apologise, I got the compass mixed up again in the pre-game. It is going from east to west. So actually, when I said the islands to the west, they were to the east. Apologies for the mixed up. But there's islands on both sides. Leviathans are going straight east, which is to the bottom of the map, or the left-hand side from
Like
my
the
point of
bottom
view,
middle,
anyway.
kind of, yeah.
I believe so. Yes, and I'm just looking at some of the ship names whilst they're doing the opening manoeuvres. I don't know if you see any ship names of, tickling your fancy, but Nemo's Gambit. My God, what a name!
Nemo, in terms of, you think 40,000 Leagues Under the Sea inspiration?
Oh, I think, well, hopefully we'll still be able to find him by the end of it because
Yep, and it looks like on the Rumrats side, very stereotypical names, but overall, ooh, I do like their Nemesis and Thunderchild. Those are good 17 gun names. But they seem to be matching X's or Leviathan's maneuvering. Granted, a little different in their fleet formations as compared to Leviathans, but this is pretty stereotypical maneuver from teams that understand naval. So what's going on here is what we've brought up before is both teams are trying to what is called bank the wind. So ideally they want to gain as much territory as possible going against the wind, so to the east side of the map, so that when they commit to a turn with the wind, so going now west, they will have more room for maneuver, more wind, so a lot of, keep up high speed maneuvers, things like that. But um, I'm
I
seeing
don't know if you.
something different from the Rumrats right now. I thought the Leviathans a second ago were turning in, but then they stopped. But the Rumrats might be doing a maneuver, or they might be just be. Yep, it looks like they are. The Rumrats seem to be turning west now. They don't want to move around here to the east. They don't want to potentially fight between Map Edge and the three islands. It looks like they want to turn their fleet around, which, you know, it's a plan. It can work.
It just looks like Leviathan's making a blockade here. They're stopping. They're trying to get the battle where they want it. I think they're just going to try and lure them in slowly. But I don't know if you noticed at the beginning, the Leviathans immediately off the bat, they were turning left, they were going for it, they knew where they wanted to go. Do you think the Rumrats reacted to that, or do you think that was their plan all along, from the way they were moving?
I think they might have thought of it because from what I saw, I only saw one of the Leviathan's 8 guns start turning in at that moment. If it's the right moment, the same moment we're thinking about, I think the Rumrats honestly will probably just wanted to, oh, we've done this part of the game now. We want to fight towards the west. We want to get the wind and fight. However, because of they're following kind of standard tradition. Everyone, if you look at the Rumrats now, this is very traditional line tactics of follow the leader, of whoever the lead ship is, you just do what they do. If they start turning around, you kind of slowly turn with them and you just, as I said, follow the leader. While you look at the Leviathans and their formation, kind of in the distance, you see the 3 8 guns leading with the 17 guns and the Corvette following. Now, this is a pretty smart play from the Leviathans because the 8 guns range is crap. It is bad. 8 guns, they're basically pea shooters. They really are made for boarding actions, in my opinion. So what they're trying to do is 8 guns get in closer and they start taking the fire, which allows those larger 17 guns, the larger ships out there, they have the greater range. Let them get to within range and let them start doing the damage, start punishing the enemy line. Because right now, from the Rumrat's point of view, only their 17 guns can really effectively engage, while the 8 guns are kind of just chilling. And then the Corvette is your glass cannon. It's a, hey, it's a point blank hello type of weapon system. It does a lot, and I mean a lot of damage. These big ships, you think they have a lot of HP right now? Just wait for a Corvette to come in point blank them. You'll start seeing them. All right, we're starting to see some more maneuvering now, some more aggression from the Leviathans. They are slowly inching their way closer. They're barely in range of the 17 guns, so we're about to see some long range firing. And this is the Rumrat's key moment. They need to, if they think they can make this, they have to commit hard. And maybe even that 8 gun would probably should. They're not going to. Unfortunately, that 8 gun's not going to sacrifice itself to cut the Leviathan's line from the front. They're going to allow the enemy to hug the island. While this is kind of dangerous for the Leviathans, this isn't a desperation. They're not totally threatened right now. They have plenty of room to maneuver. The Rumrats need to be pressing them. The 17 guns need to get online and focus fire on that lead 17 gun. But it doesn't look like that's the case. What do you think, Jenkins? What does it look like the fire plans seem to be right now?
Well, it looked like the Leviathans thought enough tiptoeing about. This is not getting into Cold War. We're not going anywhere. The big old infamous pirate, Ronnie McDonough, like, I'm the flagship here, coming through, took point, and now we've seen some traditional line firing. But Ronnie McDonough is taking a lot of damage. Shiverer of Timbers himself. Look at him go. Taken half damage already. He's going to be burning through that lumber. And look how easy it is to get blown downwind. I mean, we saw how slow and painful it was out the gate. And we're all going down to the east, and now look at it, it's like a slingshot. They're all bursting over. It's only so long before they reach the map border, and I think that's what the Leviathans are banking on. Look, if they're if they focus so hard on firing, they're gonna think, oh no, there's a big invisible wall. That's not very ocean-like, and they're right. It's not. I mean, it's normally endless.
Oh yeah.
But here we go. It's going, and the LEV grease fire. It's damaged. It's not doing too well, but it's in cover now.
I mean, fleet positioning wise, the Leviathans were in a pretty good spot, and they, like the Rumrats, this is their opportunity. They have to commit that lead 8 gun now. That 8 gun needs to sacrifice itself. It needs to be the pawn. Hey, Leviathans, shoot me, so that the rest of the Rumrats can finish off this wounded 17 gun. It's hurt hard. It's below. It's probably right around half health. They need to get, to hit it hard. And right now, they need to get to within range. So this is where you kind of think about trading. Can I trade an 8 gun, take on the enemy fleet, while my fleet takes out a more prized 17 gun? But the Leviathans have a good line right now, overall. What do you think? Overall, I think the Leviathans probably have the better position.
Well, I think the Rumrats, unknowingly or not, are stuck between a rock and a hard place, quite literally. There's a rock there, and there's nothing harder than an invisible wall. Come on, I mean, it's an invisible wall for crying out loud. But something I'm seeing uncharacteristic from the Leviathans here is that, and they're starting to do it now, but whilst we were just talking just then, the damage spread across the Rumrat fleet was very spread out. But we're seeing now the Leviathans, they're locked in. They are absolutely beaming the Rum Nemesis. Sir Digby himself is about to become a submarine. I can't hang on to that. I think you'd be a brave sailor to hold on to that helm and go down with that ship.
What? Sometimes you need to do that. You got to keep your guns firing for as long as possible. And in this situation, the 17 gun and the Corvette, they desperately need to kill the Fat Man. that now lead Leviathan 17 gun, it's in a bad spot. It's been demasted. The Corvette is technically has free reign on it. The other Leviathan 8 guns can't really help it. So the Rumrats can very quickly turn the tables here. They just have to focus it. They just, no matter what, keep demasting it, focus it down. Don't worry about the enemy 8 guns, but the Leviathans seem to be charging in. So, here we go. What are they gonna do?
That point in the game when it starts to get messy, like Mr. Commander Beardy being a very brave man indeed. Look at him, he's gone round the Leviathan fleet. I'm losing my words. He's gone round the Leviathan fleet and is now pounding, alright, 8 gun rounds, but into the back of the already very damaged LEV breeze fire by Ronnie McDonough. And because, you know, the Leviathans, they're very good at hyper-focusing on one target at one time, that he's getting away with it.
Yeah, but that really is because the 8 guns cannons are fairly weak. They don't do a lot of damage, so you can kind of trade HP for it. Oh, but something I just noticed. Do the Rumrats have any gunboats or anything? Any small boats? I don't
We've just
see
lost
any.
a Leviathan 17 gun.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. It's
1 for
going
1.
down. But the Thunderchild is hurt heavily. It's being focused down by the other 17 gun, which has recovered some HP, and the enemy Corvette, the Leviathan's Corvette is hitting it. It's going to go down soon. It's at like maybe 10%. It needs to do as much damage as it can. Looks like the Independence from the Rumrats is trying to come in and screen it if possible, but it's only gonna take a couple more shots for now, and there it goes. It is down. So the Rumrats have kind of blocked themselves into a do or die situation. If I was that 8 gun that's on the other side of the fleet, it's time to ram the enemy 17 gun. Put as many borders as you can, cause chaos, allow your fleet to either pull away or trying to like re-angle themselves for an attack, which it could be what they're about to do. The Renegade might be trying to come in for a boarding action, but the Leviathan's classy chassis is trying to intercept. What will it be? Oh, we got collisions.
We are
there
seeing
we
the
go.
collecting of materials, though. I mean, it's not over. You can't demoralise yourself in these situations. Look how many supplies are about. You can double, well, maybe not double. Well, maybe double. If you get enough, you can definitely increase the longevity of your vessel. And that's all it takes. You've just got to keep the guns singing for as long as possible. And the Leviathans, by no means, are in good health. You know, their 17 gun is probably less than quarter health, and their 8 gun, the Nemo's Gambit, the one I said, you know, I hope we won't be finding it under the ocean later. He's looking rather worse for wear. So it's not over. It's not over.
True. That was unfortunately the boarding action did not pay off. It did harass the enemy. There was a little bit of melee on both sides, but the Grease Fire is still alive and is now maneuvering forward to get at the enemy fleet. And the Rumrats have lost their Corvette. Now, remember everyone, the Corvette is not a win condition for this game. You have to sink the 8 guns and the 17 gun, but once again, it is a dangerous vessel to deal with. You have to account for it. So, with them taking it out, they basically secured don't worry about all the DPS damage that Corvette can do. If we look over at the Sloop Dog and the Independence, they're trading fire with the Leviathans Corvette. This kind of proves to you just how dangerous that Corvette can be. The Sloop Dog getting good chunk damage. It looks like they're kind of either trying to demask the Sloop Dog a little bit, but because of just how weak 8 gun cannons are, you know, the Corvette can tank it easily. All right, and if we go back over here to the Renegade, it looks like it's still alive and fighting hard, and it's coming over here to help fight this Corvette. He's trying to rejoin the rest of his compatriots.
Are we going to see a ramming speed?
I hope so, but the chain shot is pretty dangerous.
Wet
nowadays.
those sails, full speed into the side of her. She'll go down, split in half, jackdaw maneuver.
There we go. It's taking punishment, but it's getting close. It might be able to. Yep, we got collision. They're starting to board. They're trying to board, but boarding out is not very easy with the Corvette. The way it's shaped, it's pretty weird, so it is a little difficult to board her. But I do see rum rats. There are rum rats on the ship. There are 2 of them on the ship, so the timer has started. They have to hold it for 60 seconds. But while they're doing that, the rum rats are trying to finish it off, because either way, I mean, even if they did capture it, they wouldn't be able to spawn on it. And there it goes. So now it's down. Good job. However, the rum rats are still in a tough spot. That enemy 17 gun does have the range. It does have just the firepower. It can easily finish off these other 8. So the rum rats need to decide where to fight. They need to focus where they can and do as much damage as possible. It looks like they're trying to play the game of, oh, can we swoop in and get supplies, steal some supplies from the sinking Corvette. And it looks like all the Leviathan gunboats just there in the middle, just doing everything they can to just nibble at the enemy 8s. As look, we have a demasting now with the Renegade. It is being hit hard by the Leviathan 17 and an 8 gun, so it's pretty low health. It might not last much longer. A couple more good volleys, and she's gonna go down. But what matters is how you go down. In my opinion, you always go down fighting, firing every cannon possible until you can no longer do that. And there she goes. All right, so we got 2 8 guns left, with the rum rats taking on 117 and 3. The rest basically 117, 3 8s, with the sloop dog in the bad position. And there she goes. She's going down. So let's scroll on over to the last stand of the Independence. She's been fighting hard all day. She's 1v1. Well, she's kind of 1v1ing another 8 gun. The Leviathans are trying to demast her because they want to slow her down so the rest of the fleet can come in, and this might be a little bit of farm point, of trying to farm some points out. But let the Nemo try.
I think we're going to be finding Nemo after this.
Hopefully, I want it to.
He's going to be in the coral.
Come on, Independence. You can sink the Nemo. Just focus your guns. Let them have it. They're trying to demast you, so you know their strat. Take out their guns. Take out their health. Try to sink the Nemo. All right, you've got to
commend some of this gunnery. I mean, not only is every shot hitting, but if you pay attention to the kill feed as well, you'll see single shots taking out masses of people in 45-second respawns. That's big damage.
That does hurt. But if I was the Independence, no matter what you see out there, just focus on the Nemo. She's about to go down. A couple more shots. There she goes. The Nemo went down. So good job on the Independence, finishing her off. But the Leviathan fleet is coming. So if I was the Independence captain for the fight, they might be trying to push hard for the supplies. That's a bit of a risk because they have to expose themselves. But I honestly would have rammed that gunboat just for the lulz, but just because they are gunboats, you should always bully gunboats. So, looks like the crew of the Nemo are trying to board. We got a boarding action right now, but there are a lot of rum rats on that ship. And they're fighting in the back. They're holding the wheel. The Leviathans are holding him. There's one survivor, the captain. Then he went down. So, Independence has been retaken. It's now time for them to fulfill this final act. How do they want to finish this fight? Which honestly, if they could cross the T of the 17 gun, that would be cool. They can't sink it. Looking at the HP, it's basically recovered a lot of HP. But, you know, it's always epic to see little ships try to square off against the large ones.
Small ship, big ambitions, and I hope they keep it up. It's a little bit of a game of cat and mouse, but look at the guns. They're still going into the water, but they're going.
I said this is also the range. Well, they might be trying the range. I'm pretty sure the Independence is in range, but it could be a longer range because 8 guns, that's just what they do. They are.
I don't know if you've started thinking about questions for after this battle, but I think one of the things that I'm definitely going to be asking one of our victorious or failing captains is, during this battle, I've never seen so much chain shot flung about in my life. I didn't know ships carried that much chain shot.
And
What's the
she's gone
secret
down.
they're hiding?
So chain shot is good at taking down masts, which means if you take down a mast, you get a speed debuff. Which, yeah, and your ship becomes a little bit less maneuverable, things like that. So chain shot, they don't have the same range as a normal cannonball, so you do have to get in closer. But it's a pretty good trade-off. All right, so we have Leviathan's victory. And oh man, I didn't grab the point difference. Let's see if one of the admins or someone was able to snatch it. We're on standby while they go. So overall, it was a good fight. The Rum Rats, from the beginning, they were maneuvering. They were, trading blow for blow, and they were really hurting the Leviathans to the point where, they did sink 17 gun, a Corvette, and an 8 gun. Good on them. They earned those kills. But I think you can kind of tell from here the discipline of the Leviathans, won the day. So, what do you think, Jenkins? If you were the Rum Rats, what would you be looking at?
I mean, they fought a good fight. You can't deny them that. They rammed, they boarded, they fought to the bitter end, and they gave them a run for their money. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the last 2 battles the Leviathans have fought. They didn't lose a single ship. We saw the sinking of a 17-gun pirate ship, and my God, was it beautiful. I've never seen such pretty splinters in my life. They were lined with gold with all the money they'd been earning from their treacherous ventures, but my God, they've lost something for once.
Yep, that definitely helps not create such of the crazy point differences you see sometimes, is because the Rum Rats were able to sink line ships and things like that. I imagine the point difference won't be too crazy. Hopefully someone grabbed it because I was unable to grab it, and we can give you a rough calculation once we know it. But right now we are waiting for the admirals of each team to join us, and it looks like we have both of our reps. From the Leviathans, we have the victorious Lemerck. How is it going?
Hey,
And from Rum Rats, our commiserations, we are joined by Digby.
Hello.
All right, so for those of you that haven't tuned into this show before, we kind of do this like a little bit of after action, a little bit of a, hey, this is what we saw. What did you guys do? Your likes, dislikes, all that fun stuff. We try to hit them with the hard-hitting questions of anything that we can think of. So let us start with the Rum Rats. You guys came in swinging. And from my question is, I would like to ask 2, but to start off with, no boats, no small boats today?
Simply put, we some of the mercs didn't turn up, so we decided that we were already concerned about feeding points to the Leviathan. So we decided to forego the gunboats and focus on making sure that our capital ships had the best fight in them.
Okay, no, that is a decision, and it's a very valid one given what kind of what AGS did due to the gunboats with the naval update. So completely understandable, makes sense. Jenkins, what about from you?
I think with NSLs, one of the things you plan for is the opening strategy, and everything else sort of just happens. So when the Leviathans turned hard to port at the beginning, was that more of a mirror maneuver you took to try and chase them downwind, or was that part of your plan?
That was always the plan. We sort of, what we didn't want to do, which in hindsight is exactly what happened, was get pinned up against the world border in a slugging match. So we wanted to try and lead a little bit of a merry dance to start with, make them come towards us, try and pick a fight on the best terms that we could think for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a pretty good maneuver, very just purposeful maneuver. Now, because we don't have another host, I'm going to ask one more question, and Lemerk can cope and seethe. I'm breaking his rules. But when the Leviathan's fleet was starting to come against that center island, were you thinking about trying to press them to try to force him into like hard maneuvering to either like have him incidentally collide with that center island, or did you just kind of want to stand off?
At that point, we kind of realised we were in for a fight. So we knew that we weren't going to get to run away around the map and make them chase us. So at that point, yeah, really, we did just go into we're in a fight now. Let's just make the most of it that we could do. To be honest, like we're up against Leviathans. You guys are at the top for a reason. We just wanted to content ourselves with making you feel like you had to earn it a little bit, and I hope that's what we did.
From my point of view, you did. You sank 3 of their ships. Good job. So hopefully you can learn a lot from this lesson for your next match with, unless you
Marines,
know
I
it.
believe. Next.
Okay, against the Marines. Yeah, that should
Uh-oh.
be
I
a
hope
fun
the
one.
score. I hope the scores are closer than we expect.
Looking at what I can find, it's about a 14.6K difference ish.
Okay, I can.
So,
That's better than it could have been.
I mean, once again, you did sink multiple ships, which for some of the matches against the more experienced teams where they don't lose a single ship. So you proved yourself. Good job. You should
No problem.
once again pass not only my condolences, but my congratulations on that feat to the rest of your team.
I certainly will be doing. Thank you very much.
All right, Lemerk, the champion of the sea, the most feared team in the league, the true Leviathans. How are you feeling?
Great. Very proud of my crews who were, they did a great job tonight as they always do. It was a great battle. Like I have to agree with you. I think that the Rumrats did an incredible job this evening, putting the pressure on, sinking ships, fighting, shot for shot with us as always. A great team that I've been looking forward to fighting for a while.
All right, so my kind of question for you is you were starting out very traditional, kind of double line tactics, banking the wind, all that fun stuff, the normal things that we usually see from y'all. But when the Rumrats made their turn, they started going west. I believe you started to probably adopt a more aggressive stance. Tell me what was going on right there.
Yeah. So today I was in the sky, which I've never done before.
It's
So
fun.
it is fun, but it is
Frustrating.
horribly stressful for me, feeling completely out of control, right? The captains did a great job, thank God. But when they did that, they had a flat line, right, at that point. So when they did their turn, so they left spawn, they went, whatever, I think it's south or whatever the direction against the wind. And they kind of stayed parallel with their spawn. And then they turned it around and they went the other direction, right? Obviously, they're basically saying, come get us. And I rarely say no to that kind of invitation. So then what I did is because their 8 guns were not offset, that allowed me to bet my 17 guns. I put them in front, right? Because there's no worry about the 17 guns getting hit by both the 17s and their 8s because their 8s are in a line with their 17s. So they're out of range, basically, of maximum range with the 17 guns. So I put my 17 guns ahead of my 8 guns, formed them in a flat line with the expectation that the lines were going to converge at some point, and that when they would converge, I might have a few more guns at the front of my fleet, right? Because whenever you're passing an island, it's like, well, whoever pops out from the other side of the island with more guns is going to get the initial advantage. So that's what we were trying to do, kind of rush to that. They had to go kind of around the island. We both had to go around the island. But anyway, yeah. And so then on the other side, but they really were winning that opening. They had done a lot of damage to Ronnie's ship, the one that actually managed to survive, his 17 gun. But he got a reprieve when we went to that furthest group of islands. I don't know, on one side, that group of 3 islands where the rest of the battle kind of took place around those. He got a reprieve, got some island cover, got to do some repairs, and got to allow Jugan in the other 17 to then go ahead and kind of take the heat that Ronnie was taking. So we like to switch it up sometimes, and that's what we did there, and it worked for us. And then we got to regain the momentum a little bit from that point on.
True. It did look and feel like a slog, trading ship for ship, and then that scary moment of that. Yeah, your lead 17 having to basically pull itself off the line for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys did pull through. Good job.
Thank you,
Mr. Jenkins.
My God, may I just start off with saying I know your pain playing the NSL RTS edition. From the sky, you just feel like you're in the space and you're looking from a little telescope and you're just barking. Yeah, it's difficult.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is clearly just like Napoleon Total War.
Clearly
from when I do it.
Yeah, and I'm really bad at Napoleon Total War too.
Yeah, same. It's a terrible game. Anyway, I guess 2 questions. One, was it shock and horror to see one of your valued vessels go down into the ocean blue? And I was talking about pretty splinters earlier. We're really happy to have seen those. We didn't know that your splinters were that pretty. We've never seen them
They're
before.
beautiful. Oh,
I know.
Come on now.
Embroidered in gold. And I guess the second question that I guess answer both in one. A lot of chain shot being thrown around. Something you want to tell us? Something you want to?
Sure.
Is this a new strategy?
First off, when it comes to looking at my splinters, you can ask your co-host what they look like because he's well acquainted. That said, to lose a 17 gun is a very scary thing. Always, right? The fear of defeat starts to creep into your mind. But that said, I think Jugan did an incredible job on that 17 gun, our captain, getting into the thick of it and giving as good as he got, even though he was sort of surrounded by enemy shots. And then Ronnie, who was that injured 17 gun, he did a really great job of getting himself into a firing angle where he could hit a 17 gun, but really wasn't getting paid much attention to, which is great because he's the one who had less HP. So I think that's the secret sauce to how we pulled back, is that we got the entire enemy team's attention on a very healthy 17 gun, which allowed us to have more time to fire both 17 guns. The chain shot was just a thing where, when the enemy team gets messy and when you get messy, the best thing that you can do, I think, is to just demass ships and, stop them from repositioning and reforming and reorganizing themselves while you reorganize yourselves. And so, I think 8-gun chain shot is a phenomenal utilization of their firepower. I think Corvette chain shot is a great utilization of its firepower. And so, we love to play around with chain shot. We're big fans of it here in the Leviathans. So yeah, and I mean, like when you think about it, a mast is like, if you're hitting the mast, and it's hard to hit, but if you hit the mast, I feel like you're doing extra damage because it's ship HP that they should have to repair, but it doesn't repair their hull HP. So why not? If you're confident that you can hit it because they have to waste resources repairing it, and those resources don't get put back into their ship HP. So why not?
True. It is a very valid strat, and it has been put to great use not only in today's match, but in other matches where maybe we see some lovely boarding happening. Good job with Digby there. I saw that your 8-gun was really getting violent in that regard, and good on it.
But that was the backup plan.
Well, after this, I do have a recommendation to make that a primary plan because I seeing it. That wasn't a key position. But
Muffin's goal in this league is to get somebody to board the hell out of us by the end of the season. Like, that's all he wants. I know it. Muffin, you're
We had a
telling
good go.
everybody. Everybody,
try
just
to
get on their
encourage
ships.
everyone. Yeah,
Encourage everybody. I
it's a
respect
mechanic. Let's do it.
it. And it's a great mechanic. It works.
All right, Jenkins, anything else for our victorious admiral?
Yeah, well done. So congratulations and commiserations, but what a fight we witnessed today. And I don't think anybody this season has given Leviathan such a run for their money as the Rum Rats. And as the person who has to fight these mutated rats next time, yeah, I'm shivering. Could you go on holiday for a bit? That'd be really nice. If you just have a nice vacation in Vancouver or something, that'd be good.
I think I might have muddied my American credentials a moment ago in the lobby.
All right.
Can I just say it's so incredible how competitive the middle of this leaderboard bracket is. Like, there are so many teams that are just so close in skill level and so close like to punching up into. I think people can punch up even into top 3. Like, we're in a situation where the Rum Rats. I mean, you guys did I just want to say you guys did such a good job today. It's such a great thing to
Thank
watch
you.
you guys play. So, congrats. Sorry, please
No,
continue.
I mean, congratulations to you guys as well. I think you did exactly what we'd expect to see from you guys in this kind of match.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you to all of our amazing watchers/listeners that show up every weekend to see all these talented teams battle it out for the top slots. I would like to thank my co-host Jenkins. Thank you for your time and your talking
Thanks
today.
for me being here. It was a battle of two heathens, French versus pirates. We watched from a distance. It was a very, very good show. And I'm glad to be of spectacle.
All right. And I would like to thank our admins, our correspondents, our camera crews, everyone else that are behind the scenes that work as hard as possible to make the NSL look good. Thank you all. I'm not legally obligated to say that, but death threats have been made. So there we go. Join us next week for week 14, where we will see the Krakens versus the Kelpies. Until then, have a good day.